in handcuffs. And I'm like, what did I do? What did I do? I literally had no idea what I had done wrong, but it's because I had a knife at school. Everybody I had ever been to school with had a knife to cut their apple. Like, it was the standard thing. So here I am with, like, police and, you know, guns and badges, and they're throwing me in handcuffs and taking me out of the school on day one in America. And I'm like, this is the scariest thing I've ever seen. And I didn't even learn until later that day that it was because I had a pocket knife. And at no point did I think having a pocket knife was a bad thing.
So they didn't tell you?
No, they just grabbed me. There was like this whole thing, like the knife went flying. I was chained up, and I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And they're like, you're in big trouble. And I was like, why? And, you know, it was like little culture shock things like that to me were like something I'd done every day my whole life. And now I'm like getting thrown in jail.
When you think back about that, do you think that's just the consequences of being
For sure. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I went to school every day with a knife. There was no violence issues. There was nothing like that. But then you come here where, you know, there's stabbings and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's because, you know, I lived in a tiny country with a tiny population.
Do you think that it's possible that, I mean, it's stupid, but there's no way you could live like that over here? I mean, there's no way you can have kids with a bunch of knives.
No, I don't think so.
Not with this culture.
I don't think so at all. I think that would be terrible. And I get it now as an adult.
Nobody talked to you about it before you left the house?
No. My mom didn't know. She's from Africa. You know, she's like, here are your things.
Here's your knife,
cool,
son.
I'll put it in my pocket.
Make sure you sharpen it before you go to school.
Totally, man.
Wow. So you were always doing these walking safaris? You started out doing the driving ones, and then eventually you started doing the walking ones?
My family business did walking safaris. They didn't do hunting. It was all photographic. And we were in the Zambezi Valley. So the Zambezi River is one of the biggest rivers in the world. So we do these walking safaris, and then we did canoe safaris as well, which is why I have so many hippo and croc stories, because we'd be canoeing down the Zambezi River and then taking photographs and seeing wildlife that way.
Wow. What a crazy way to grow up, man.
It was awesome.
Your relationship to wildlife is just so different than the average person in this country.
For sure. It's very intimate. Like, I feel like I have, like, regardless of being a scientist by trade, I feel like I have a very intimate understanding of animals because I grew up completely surrounded by them.
Now, what other countries have you explored?
I'm over 60 countries now.
Damn.
Yeah. So a lot. All for wildlife work. Whether it's for the show that I do or for biology contracts before I did the show, or just because, like, for instance, when I got done with college, I was like, I had a tiny little business starting college, sold it, and was like, I'm going to travel the world and try and photograph these animals. And I went to 28 countries looking for wildlife.
Did you have something to do with looking for the Tasmanian tiger?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
No, what do you think?
I think of all the extinct animals that have gone extinct at the hand of man, given the range, I don't know if you know this, but the Tasmanian tiger at one point ranged from Papua New Guinea all the way down to Tasmania. So not just the island of Tasmania, but thousands, tens of thousands of miles. I think given the range, the frequency of sightings, the amount of untouched habitat in Australia and Tasmania and Papua New Guinea, where they just found a new dog species, by the way.
They did?
Yeah, the Highland dog in New Guinea, maybe a year ago now. Incredible looking animal. Like, absolutely. Could there be a very small remnant population of thylacine, Tasmanian tiger, hiding out in an isolated pocket of habitat? I totally think it's possible.
And these sightings, are they coming from credible sources?
So I did one expedition. I've done 2 expeditions looking for thylacine, and one of them I was literally talking to the man who is the head park ranger for, like, the entire North Queensland. So he's a scientist by trade, a biologist by degree, and he says I saw 4 of them.
Whoa.
You know, so this isn't like some crackpot drunk who's like, yeah, they're here. You know, this is a guy who is, like myself, a scientist, a biologist, and spends his life in the bush. He knows every animal in that area, and he goes, I saw 4 of them.
Wow.
So, like, how do you not, like, I get goosebumps talking about it, because how do you not, like, take that as credible?
No, that's about as credible as it gets. Whoa, look at that cool-looking dog.
There it is.
What a freaky-looking dog. The world's rarest and most ancient dog has been rediscovered in the wild. So this New Guinea Highland dog was thought to be extinct? Is that the idea?
That's right, yep.
Wow. So this thylacine, this area is where they are. Has there been a concerted effort to find these things?
Sort of. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, I would say the thylacine is like the icon of animals coming back from extinction for Australia, right? It's kind of like everybody knows about it in Australia. They all care about it. But where these efforts are is, like, outside of Sydney, or, you know what I mean? It's close to home. So there hasn't been a lot of expeditions really deep in to look for them. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. So there's so much belief that the animal is still out there that the, it's the university in Cairns. I'm blanking on the name of it right now. The university itself put money towards funding to find it. So when you have a credible institution like a university going, here's money, go and find this thing, you've got to think, and I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but you've got to think they have some intel that says, look, we're not wasting our money to look for something that's not there. We've heard something, we've seen something, we caught something on a trail camera, let's prove it. And so I actually teamed up with...
They caught something on a trail camera.
Hard to say, but what they did do is fund this expedition. So myself and the university, who's still ongoing with the research, went and looked in this area in North Queensland where I went.
And how far deep did you go in?
1,200 miles.
1,200 miles?
Yep. It took 14 hours driving and then hiking from there.
Whoa.
Yeah, 14 hours on dirt roads.
Because this is the area where they've been sighted the most numerous?
This is where that sighting that I was talking about came from the biologist. not a big conspiracy guy, but if you're at a university,
might be one. It's like that's probably as close as they have. Maybe
there's a lot of these could be. There's a new one that just came out.
Whoa!
See, to me, that's a mangy fox. That's not a thylacine.
No?
Look at the base of the tail; it's very thin. It's carrying in an upward curve instead of straight. Like if you look at a kangaroo's tail, it's very flat.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of fox problems in Australia where they're introduced. Could be wrong. You know, as a scientist, I try not to get too excited when I see something that I'm like, this is it. But
it's hard to tell because of the way the grass is. It makes it look like he's got stripes on his back like a tiger. Wow. A trail cam has captured an image that has excited Tasmanian tiger hunters to the possibility the animal may roam freely across Australia. Wow. How big is that thing?
They're like coyote sized. Very similar to a coyote in size.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, don't you think, though, that if they had definitive footage that they would release it to try to get more funding? And
dude, the problem is footage isn't definitive anymore. Like, last year, I got a photo of a leopard in Zanzibar. The first time in 25 years, the animal was declared extinct, and we caught a video, not even a photo, a video of a Zanzibar leopard. And took it up the chain, and they're like, unless we have genetic proof, the animal remains extinct. So I think, you know, it's so hard to
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. Come on, Will. So yeah, I think you know, if the university had something, they're trying to get enough data to really present a case, as opposed to like, you know, throwing up a flag over something into one individual.
Well, is there a concern that a bunch of amateur wildlife hunters would go there? What is this, Jamie?
There it is. That's my leopard.
That's the leopard.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. Did you have you seen that photo or the footage rather of the jaguar that they found in Arizona?
Yeah.
That's really interesting too, right?
Amazing.
That they're starting to make their way up from Mexico.
It's such a weird region because here's this huge Sonoran desert that you think none of these tropical animals can make it across, and for whatever reason, southern Arizona gets jaguars and coatimundi and peccary and all these like tropical animals.
Yeah.
What the hell? I don't know the answer. What the hell's going on that all these rainforest creatures are making it through this 1,000-mile stretch of desert and into southern Arizona?
Probably bored.
Could be.
Looking for cool places to visit.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's just like a natural instinct to roam and expand your territory. There he is.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
That's amazing.
That's an incredible animal.
So beautiful.
And it's huge.
Huge.
They're 200 plus pounds, right? It's a big fucking aggressive cat. What's bigger, a jaguar or a leopard? Leopard, right?
Leopard, yeah.
Yeah, and that's even bigger. But it's such a beautiful animal too. And apparently they were all over North America.
Jaguars?